Good afternoon. Welcome to Cool Springs. Today is Wednesday, November the 5th, 2025, and this is our series, God Conversations. And our topic today is about decorations. Just yesterday, I had a friend, a chaplain that I used to work with when I worked for the chapel, come out to the house to help Stacy and I set up our Christmas tree. Our Christmas tree is a 7.5 foot tall tree, and neither one of us has the physical strength to screw in the tree base with the bottom part of the tree so that it'll stay stable and won't rock a little bit. Plus, since the tree is 7.5 feet tall, and I'm 5'4", and Stacy's just like an inch taller than me, we can't reach the top of it. It's one of those practical reminders of ways I miss my husband, who passed away. This will now be our 4th Christmas without him, because he was 6 feet tall, and he could put the topper on the tree, and he could string the lights, at least get them started going from the top to at least the middle section where we could take over, and he could put some of the smaller ornaments on top of the tree. But without him, we either need to have tall friends with teenagers who are tall enough to do it, or be able to climb up on the step ladder and do it ourselves. I'm 68 years old. I have to admit that my days of climbing ladders and step ladders need to be over with. The old gray mare ain't what she used to be, and that's not just an old-fashioned song. That's a reality. Over the years, I've seen lots of people that I know, particularly the husbands of friends of mine, who didn't want to admit that time had taken its toll, and they would do things like climb up on ladders or try to clean out the gutters and do things that their physical bodies just shouldn't have done anymore. And they would wind up hurting themselves. Well, at least I can admit to myself, as well as to the world through this video, that I know I have no business on stepladders anymore. Could have chosen to just go get a smaller tree, but I've got some decorations that I really like, and a smaller tree wouldn't accommodate all the decorations that I want to put on, because some of them are just nice decorations, some of them are religiously significant, and yeah, some of them are family significant to help me remember my husband, my parents, some of my siblings who've passed away. Could have gotten a smaller tree, one that we could handle ourselves, or could admit I need help. Sometimes the toughest thing for Christians to do is to admit that we're sometimes the ones who need the help. But for the past 3, now 4 Christmases coming up, I've needed help with that Christmas tree. And thankfully, I've had friends who are willing to step up and come out and help us do the decorations. So yesterday, the tree went up, because it's been a tradition in our family for a long time to try to put the tree up early. When Mark and I were first married, we would normally put the tree up on Thanksgiving night, put on a pot of coffee, play some Christmas carols on the stereo or the radio, depending upon what was available, and we'd decorate our Christmas tree. We've been married maybe 4 years when one of my brothers passed away on Thanksgiving Day. And of course, that year, we didn't put the tree up on Thanksgiving night. And the following year, when it came time for Thanksgiving, even though Thanksgiving floats, it's not on the same day every year. Like Christmas is always going to be on December 25th, whether it's a Sunday, a Thursday, a Tuesday, or whatever. But Thanksgiving is always the 4th Thursday in November. So that following year, after my brother's death, Thanksgiving didn't fall on the day of his death. but what's going on in my mind and in the minds of all of my family members. Forever now, Thanksgiving is associated not only with the family memories that are good memories of all the holiday gatherings and the Thanksgiving dinners and the grandparents and aunts and uncles that came over, but it's associated with a significant loss. So Mark and I decided, you know what, we won't put the tree up on Thanksgiving night anymore. We moved it backwards to the end of October, beginning of November. By this time, he's heavily involved in his military chaplaincy career, and I'm serving churches and chapels, doing a lot of religious education. And so a lot of times during the holidays, if we didn't put that tree up early, we wouldn't really have that many nights to be at home to just enjoy our tree and enjoy being a family celebrating at home. There were always events, office parties, unit parties, special religious teachings that we had to do, Christmas caroling and Advent workshops, all the different things associated with the season. So we've kept up the tradition of putting up the tree early. Tree is up, thanks to my friend coming over to help us get the tree positioned and get the lights strung around it and get the topper on it. And probably by this weekend, we'll slowly start putting some of the decorations on the tree. And some of the decorations, like I said, will be things that we've had for years, like various Christmas balls or maybe candy canes that are in their wrappers. Some of them will be ornaments that remind us of loved ones. Some are ornaments that we've bought in some of the places we've lived that remind us of what life was like when we were stationed overseas or living in a different part of the country. Some of them are things that I got from Mama's house when she passed. I got some of her Christmas decorations. Today in the mail, I wasn't expecting it. It was a surprise gift. Some of the artwork that you see on both sides of me here from our artist friend, my high school friend Bonnie, who's doing some artwork for us for VBS and various things. She sent some of the artwork that you see here, and included with it were 2 ornaments. One of them, obviously, is faith-based, because after all, what's the reason that we're putting up a Christmas tree, that we're giving presents, that we're celebrating the fact that God became man? So this ornament that shows Joseph and Mary and baby Jesus is a religious reminder of this is why we celebrate Christmas. But not every ornament on our tree has a religious purpose to it. Stacy and I are both very, very fond of the cartoon classic that has been around since I was a child, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But my favorite character in The Grinch is the Grinch's dog, Max. Part of that cartoon holiday classic is that the Grinch is mean and he's bitter, and because he's mean and bitter, he wants everybody else to be miserable. So he can't stand the fact that the people in the village are all happy and celebrating Christmas. He wants to go and steal their Christmas presents. He starts off as being a not good person. But even somebody who's not good can still have somebody who loves him. The Grinch's little dog likes the Grinch. Even when the Grinch mistreats the little dog, tries to make him pull the sleigh with all this weight on it, the dog is still loyal to his master. So it's okay to celebrate some of those holiday traditions that may not have anything at all to do with the reason for the season, as long as you don't let it crowd out and usurp the real reason for the season. One of the pieces of art that's over here to my left, your right, we'll talk about that one more in detail in a few minutes, because we have another short series we do every week called Questions About God and the Bible. And at this time of year, you'll not only find it on social media, but you'll hear people discussing it, and it'll show up in magazine articles and some people will be taking the position that, oh, should we even be celebrating these holidays? And they'll try to focus on pagan traditions, and therefore we shouldn't try to Christianize it. And some denominations actually will have positions that say that you should or should not be celebrating these holidays. But when we're looking at why we do what we do, in my case, I was raised in a Christian household. Dad was a deacon in our church. Mama sang in the choir. They both taught Sunday school and what used to be called training union classes. When the church doors were open, our family was there. And yeah, we had a Christmas tree. And some of the decorations on it and under it would have been your Santa Claus and your nutcrackers and maybe your Grinch. But some of them were religious in nature. And some of them, I didn't even understand the reason behind why we have these particular decorations on the tree until I became a teenager and adult. It's important for us when we're decorating our homes for the holidays to share the traditions on why we're doing what we're doing so that the kids will know. One of the things that we've done at the chapel and here at the church is when we have our annual day, when we decorate the church for the beginning of the Advent season, we'll have people from all ages here. We'll have senior adults, younger adults, we'll have teenagers and some kids helping us move things around and unpack boxes that have the lanterns and have the candles and have the Christmas tree for the church and some of the decorations that go on there. And I like to try to educate the kids especially. Why do we hang these colored balls on a tree? Just to see if they know the answer, because if they don't, and they probably don't most of the time, I can let them know that actually when we're hanging these brightly colored balls on a Christmas tree, it's representing fruit. When we're putting lights on a tree, it's representing the light of the world. And so Bonnie's very timely art that I didn't even know I was going to get. You know, the doorbell rang and the driver had left the package on the front door. It shows a Christmas tree with lights on it. And in the center of the Christmas tree is a big old cross. Because you see, the debate on whether or not we should be celebrating Christmas or Easter really falls on where is your heart at. Whatever you do can be a testament to what God is doing in your life, or you can totally trash the meaning if you just stay with the secular and ignore the Christ-honoring parts of it. So, the tree that we put up in the house at Christmas, and we decorate it with balls and lights and various kinds of decorations, reminds us that the baby who came at Christmas, the manger scene baby, is a baby with a purpose. God decided to come to earth, take on flesh, so that he could grow up and live that perfectly sinless life that you and I are not capable of, so that he could go to the other tree. The Christmas tree, we hang joyous decorations on. God himself hung on another tree, and it completes the salvation story for us. So as we're decorating for the holidays, yes, it's fun to focus on the birth of the Christ child and on some of the other secular types of things, but we need to make sure that when we celebrate Christmas, what we're doing is we're preparing our hearts to know more about him, to be grateful to the God who was willing to come and take on flesh and go all the way to the cross to save us. So whatever decorations you choose to put up, simple or elaborate, make sure that you're focusing on the fact that Jesus is the reason for the season.